Hi, and welcome to your Bare Basics lesson on adding and subtracting integers. Let's begin by having a quick revision of what an integer actually is. An integer is a whole number that can be positive, negative, or zero. Some examples of integers are negative 45, 79, negative 24, and 0. These are integers because they're whole numbers, and some are positive, some are negative, and don't forget 0. Some non-examples are 1.73 and negative 5.98. These are not integers because they are decimals and so they have parts of a number there. Similarly, 3/5 is a fraction or a part of a whole, so it is not an integer. Adding and subtracting integers is really easy, and there are a couple of tricks that I'm going to show you that will make sure that you get it right every time. We can add and subtract integers easily by breaking the problem into its parts. Each sign and number in the equation or the expression gives us a step in the process. So let's start with a number line and the problem -2 minus -6. So you can see our number line there. We have our negative numbers to the left and positive numbers to the right. Our first term, so the -2, tells us where we start on the number line. The next step, the operator, tells us which way to face. So we start with our -2, and then the next sign, the negative or the minus, tells us that we need to face the minus direction. The next term, the sign in front of the next integer, tells us whether to go forwards or backwards. And then the number tells us how many we have to move. So we're currently facing the minus end. And because we have to go -6, if we were to go forward, that would be moving in a positive direction, but we're going backwards in a negative step. So we actually have to take 6 steps backwards. So there we go, and we end up with 4. So -2 minus -6 gives us 4. Now you'll be pleased to know that we can simplify the problem, so you don't have to worry about which way do I turn and do I go forward or backwards. So instead of remembering this on a number line, we can simplify the problem whenever we have two signs co-located, and that is next to each other in the problem. If the signs are the same, either two negatives or two positives, they combine to form a positive. And if the signs are different, they combine to form a negative. Here's a table that summarises how we can combine the signs. So you can see if we have a positive and a positive, they combine to create a positive. A positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive, gives us a negative. And two negatives, because the signs are the same, combine to a positive. This table is really important because you will see it a number of times when we're dealing with integers, being them adding or actually multiplying and dividing as well. So, back to adding or subtracting integers. In our original problem, the co-located signs simplify. So we have -2 minus -6. The two co-located signs, the negative and the negative, they're the same, so they combine to a positive. So once again, we start at -2, and then we go in the positive direction, 6, and that gets us to 4. There's another trick to help us, particularly when the numbers are bigger, because a number line in those cases gets really impractical. So again, we can use our table and the signs in front of each term to tell us what to do. If the signs are the same, we can add both numbers and then use that sign in the answer. For example, -32 minus 64, well, both signs are negative and they're the same, so we add the two numbers together to get 100, and then because we have negative signs, it becomes a -100 in the answer. If the signs are different, we subtract the smaller from the larger number and use the sign that is in front of the larger number or the number with the greatest magnitude. For example, 32 minus 64, the signs are different. We have a plus and a minus, which means we have to take away. So 64 take 32 is 32. But the number with the largest magnitude, that is the furthest away from 0, is 64, and it has a negative in front of it. So we have a negative in our answer. So our answer is negative 32. Let's just summarise the steps, because if you get these steps, you'll be right every time. Simplify any co-located signs. Then look at the remaining signs and work out whether you need to add the two numbers, that's if the signs are the same, or subtract them if the signs are different. Then make sure the answer includes the sign that is in front of the largest number. For example, negative 50 plus negative 25. The first step is that we have two co-located signs, the plus negative. So they are different, so they will combine to create a negative. So we have negative 50 minus 25. Now our two signs in the equation are the same. When the signs are the same, we add. So 50 plus 25 gives us 75. And because the number in front of the biggest sign is a negative, the answer is negative 75. If you have any questions about this, just ask me in class or send me an email. I hope this has made it easier for you to add and subtract integers. Remember, the idea of the bare basics is to make maths more bearable.